And that's the beauty of it, because you can make a few coins, doing something you love, you're doing good.
Hip-hop once created hundreds of millionaires, and hip-hop also buried more than a few of them. But not E-40. While many rappers burn money just to look rich, E-40 quietly built a powerful empire that he actually owns. Behind a discreet gate in Danville, California, sits a multi-million-dollar mansion. The garage is not a parking space, but a showroom of power for those who have money. And while champagne gets popped for one night and then disappears, the bottles of wine bearing the E-40 name are poured every single day. On paper, people say E-40 is worth around $10 million. But paper cannot measure E-40's real assets built over nearly 30 years. Today, we are not talking about hit songs, not about stage lights or fame. Get ready to step into the real empire of E-40, where luxury is not loud, but heavy enough to crush an entire generation of rappers who once thought they were untouchable. Earl Tyrone Stevens was born on November 15, 1967 in Vallejo, California, a city that never looked anything like the American dream. Vallejo was an industrial town closely tied to the Mare Island Naval Base. When the military was strong, Vallejo survived. When budgets were cut, the city went into a free fall. Jobs disappeared, crime rose, and the entire area sank into a long sense of instability throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Earl's family did not escape that spiral either. His parents divorced early, leaving his mother to carry the household on her own. She did not have a stable job to rely on. She took whatever work could bring money home. Earl grew up with his siblings, Tanina and Danelle, in a house where comfort was never a concept. No one taught Earl about investing or business, but life taught him a very clear lesson. Without money, you have no choices. That feeling is what later separated Earl from many rappers of his generation. He did not spend money to prove who he was. He held on to money because he remembered what it felt like to have nothing. Then hip-hop appeared not as a romantic dream, but as a practical spark. The defining moment came in the late 1970s, when Earl heard Rapper's Delight by the Sugar Hill Gang. He was only about 12 years old. He was not dazzled by stages or lights. What stopped the kid from Vallejo was a very specific thought. These people are making money from music. To Earl, it was not some higher form of art. It was a system. Music could generate income. From there, Earl started playing bass and snare drums while still in elementary school. He treated music as a skill that could be traded. In high school at James J. Hogan, while playing baseball like any other kid, Earl and his siblings quietly recorded music, copied tapes, and sold them directly to people they knew in the neighborhood. Cash exchanged for sound. It was in those small transactions that Earl's mindset of music as a profession began to take shape. In 1985, Earl Stevens left the stifling heat of Vallejo, California, and headed to Louisiana with dreams of college at Grambling State. But this was not a bright college movie. Among unfamiliar classrooms, Earl realized he did not belong. After just 1 year, he decided to walk away. That was not failure. It was an awakening. He realized, my world is not built on a degree. The clique and the family empire. When rap becomes a system. Back in California in 1986, Earl Stevens took the name E-40, a street-soaked name inspired by the 40-ounce bottle. He did not move alone. He formed the clique, a blood-bound alliance made up of his sister, Suga T, his brother D-Shot, and his cousin, B-Legit. While other rappers waited for industry heavyweights to notice them, E-40 built his own foundation by launching Stick With It Records in 1990. He did not ask anyone for permission to succeed. By 1992, the album Down and Dirty unexpectedly landed on the Billboard Top R&B and Hip-Hop Albums chart. For an indie group out of Vallejo, this was a direct punch to the belief that underground artists could not survive. 1 year later, the song Captain Save a Ho sparked intense controversy, but also spread rapidly viral before the internet even existed. The peak arrived in 1995 with the album Game Related, holding the number 3 spot on the Billboard R&B and Hip-Hop chart and number 21 on the Billboard 200. E-40 proved one thing. When you have a system and blood behind you, you are not just making music, you are building a dynasty. The Vallejo family officially stepped onto the national stage. After 2001, the clique slowly dissolved. The final album no longer made noise. and each member went their own way. But by then, E-40 had already learned the most important lesson. Solo career, not explosive, but never extinguished. The debut solo album Federal in 1993 helped E-40 build a loyal fan base across the Bay Area. In 1994, he signed with Jive Records, becoming one of the first West Coast rappers to move from the underground to a major label without losing control. In 1995, In a Major Way dropped with appearances from Tupac and Spice One and quickly became a commercial hit. From there, E-40 entered a steady release run through the late 1990s, delivering gold-certified albums like The Hall of Game, The Element of Surprise, and Charlie Hustle. What sets E-40 apart is this. He never needed one massive explosion to last a lifetime. He earned consistently released albums, regularly kept his fans, and maintained ownership. The late explosion. When a new generation had to look back. In 2006, as many rappers from his era had faded, E-40 signed with Lil Jon's BME Recordings and Warner Brothers Records. The album My Ghetto Report Card dropped and shocked the industry, reaching number 3 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums chart. It proved that a man over 40 could still make the entire world move to the sound of hyphy. The single Tell Me When to Go became the Bay Area's anthem, introducing E-40 to a completely new generation. This was not a comeback. This was proof that moving slow in the right direction lasts longer than running fast without vision. E-40's solo career is a lesson in long-term accumulation. He was not a flash star. He is a sustainable empire that has lasted 30 years. He was one of the first West Coast rappers to sign with Jive Records, securing massive advances while keeping full artistic control. With more than 20 studio albums, E-40 owns most of his master records. Estimates suggest that every year passive royalties from Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube bring him no less than $2 to $3 million. Want E-40 on a verse? Be ready with at least $25,000 to $50,000 for a short feature. Each performance by the Godfather ranges from $40,000 to over $75,000. Roughly dozens of shows every year across 3 decades. That money alone is enough to build an entire neighborhood. But if music is what took E-40 out of Vallejo, business is what kept him in the wealthy class. While others burned money on parties, E-40 quietly built an economic fortress that even Wall Street CEOs would envy. The E-40 financial empire. The gold mines that never run dry. Not waiting for rap to pay the bills for life. E-40 started making money work very early. Back in the 1990s, when most rappers were pouring cash into cars and jewelry, E-40 quietly stepped into the world of investing. Here is the surprise. E-40 was one of the few black artists who invested early in Microsoft, not to show off, but to let money work for him. He made a smart move by betting on technology in its early stages. That decision turned him into one of the most powerful individual shareholders among artists. As Microsoft stock skyrocketed, his wealth multiplied exponentially without him breaking a single sweat on stage. The massive franchise chain 2007 marked a major turning point. On November 16, 2007, E-40 signed a franchise agreement with Wingstop Restaurants Inc., announcing plans to open a location in Benicia, California. This was not a rap-themed spot built for clout. This was a fast food model with steady cash flow and minimal dependence on personal image. Before that, E-40 had tested the waters with a Fatburger location in Pleasant Hill, California, partnered with former NFL player Chester McGlockton. That venture did not last long and eventually closed. Instead of bleeding money, E-40 cut his losses fast and exited a model that did not fit. This detail matters. He did not try to save a failing business just to protect his ego. He also opened Ambassador's Lounge, a nightclub in downtown San Jose. The club shut down after a few years, right around the time many rappers were sinking money into nightlife businesses. E-40 got out early and avoided long-term losses. If you ask where E-40's real gold mine is, the answer is alcohol. The wine empire. The biggest, cleanest, most profitable move. Around 2013, E-40 officially entered the wine industry with the brand Earl Stevens Selections. No noise like vodka campaigns, no fake luxury. He went the opposite direction. In 2014, Mango Scotto launched a mango-flavored wine that quickly became a cultural phenomenon. This was not wine for French connoisseurs. This was wine for grown hip-hop fans who liked sweet flavors, easy drinking, and accessible pricing. With an alcohol content of 18% far higher than standard wine, he hit the mindset of mature fans perfectly. Drink to get lit, but lit with class. The result: Mango Scotto quickly became a top seller in multiple states with strong distribution across California, Texas, and the Midwest. No television ads needed. It sold through culture and community. Then came Function Red Blend, a name pulled straight from hip-hop slang, but positioned on store shelves as a serious product. While other rappers pop champagne bottles for one night in the club, E-40’s wine sells every day, all year long. Revenue from the wine business is estimated at tens of millions of dollars annually, turning E-40 into a true alcohol mogul standing shoulder to shoulder with names like Jay-Z and Diddy. The key to E-40’s wine success comes down to two weapons: distribution and loyalty. I am not selling wine, I am selling a lifestyle. He built his own distribution strategy, placing products in massive retail chains like Costco, Bevmo, and Total Wine. He turned millions of loyal fans into lifetime customers. Every time someone pours a glass of Mango Scotto, they are laying another brick in the mansion he owns in Danville. The mystery of the $10 million number. Why it is the biggest financial illusion. On paper, people say, E-40 is worth around $10 million. It sounds reasonable, but if you understand money, you know immediately that number is far smaller than the reality he controls. This is an estimate so conservative it is almost harmless. It only counts what is easy to see, easy to record, easy to calculate. The assets that actually generate E-40's financial power do not appear on that spreadsheet. That $10 million does not include the value of his wine brands. It does not include annual cash flow that continues to move steadily. It does not include real estate purchased in the 1990s, held for nearly 30 years quietly appreciating. And it certainly does not include his music catalog and publishing assets that generate income every year, whether he steps on stage or not. Put simply, $10 million is just the surface outsiders are allowed to see. The real E-40 empire lives elsewhere in assets that have not been sold, not been flaunted, and do not need validation. E-40 is not rich in a loud burst and fade way. No flexing, no headlines. No need to prove he has more than anyone else. And that is the most dangerous kind of wealth in hip-hop. Rich enough that no one truly knows how much he actually has. If you want to understand how the true king of the Bay Area really lives, look at his estate in Danville, California. This is not a house rented to shoot a music video. This is a legacy built brick by brick from the very beginning. The Danville fortress wealth forged in gold and marble. Let's rewind to 1996. While rappers of the same era were busy buying diamond chains, E-40 was already looking into the future. He spent $625,000 USD to purchase a 1-acre property in Danville, California, a serious number at the time. Not Beverly Hills, not Hollywood Hills. Danville is a quiet enclave for real money where wealthy people live among each other and do not need to prove anything to anyone. On that land, E-40 built a mansion of roughly 7,200 square feet. Inside are 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bathrooms, open living spaces, high ceilings, and a layout so expansive you need time just to take it all in. Outside sits a resort-style swimming pool, a true private retreat. The backyard is an outdoor entertainment complex with artificial waterfalls, color-changing LED lighting, and a high-end BBQ area. Picture the most lavish gatherings of financial elites happening right here under the California sunset. A lifelong sports fan, E-40 also built a private professional basketball court on the property. This is where he stays in shape, and where the spirit of never quitting is permanently embedded. What matters most is this. For nearly 30 years, E-40 never sold, never upgraded, never chased trends. The house stayed right there in Danville and quietly appreciated with time. By 2025, its market value is estimated between 4.5 and 5 million USD. While many rappers switch homes like outfits, E-40 stayed put and let time turn that house into one of the heaviest assets in his entire empire. After real estate came something even closer to the streets: cars. Not for flexing, but to express a lifestyle he has carried since day one on the West Coast. E-40's supercar collection. When cars become a statement. In elite circles, some brands exist to represent absolute power, and Rolls-Royce sits at the very top. The Cullinan, a luxury SUV with a starting price around $350,000 USD, is E-40's daily driver. Under the hood sits a 6.75-liter V12 engine power in excess, hidden behind near-silent smoothness. Inside, everything is wrapped in hand-stitched leather rare wood and polished metal, creating the feeling of first-class seating in a private jet on wheels. If the Cullinan represents power that adapts to any terrain, the Rolls-Royce Phantom is E-40's fixed throne. Premium leather interior and a starlight headliner designed to resemble an entire galaxy turn every ride into a journey through space. The Phantom does not need to accelerate to impress. Its presence alone reminds everyone that this game already has an owner. Do not let the image of a calm businessman fool you. Inside E-40 still lives the instinct of a pure speed enthusiast. The Ferrari 488 Spider is the convertible he uses to enjoy the coastal breeze of the California Bay Area. Its twin-turbo V8 produces over 660 horsepower launches from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just over 3 seconds and delivers a roar that forces entire streets to look back. Its value sits around $300,000 USD, but the driving experience cannot be priced. At an even higher level stands the Ferrari 812 Superfast, one of the last naturally aspirated V12 machines still in existence. With nearly 800 horsepower, a top speed exceeding 340 kilometers per hour, and a price beyond $400,000 USD, the 812 is not just fast. It is a final statement of Italian mechanical art before the world fully enters the era of electrification. This is not a car for the masses, and E-40 knows that. Alongside modern machines, E-40 holds a deep respect for classic cars. This is where he separates himself from most wealthy rappers. He preserves the soul of West Coast culture through perfectly restored classics. The 1975 Chevrolet Caprice Classic is a symbol of California street history, refinished with meticulous care. Its deep black paint reflects like a mirror every detail, recalling the golden age of the lowrider era. He also owns a 1963 Chevrolet Impala, a true lowrider equipped with hydraulic suspension. Maintaining these vehicles requires deep knowledge and serious long-term investment in upkeep. There is also a lineup of classic box Chevys and Impalas carefully rebuilt with oversized rims, lowered suspension, and sound systems powerful enough to turn an entire neighborhood into a stage. These cars do not just hold value. They gain value because they are becoming rarer and more iconic with time. To support business operations and team travel, E-40 also owns full-size American SUVs. The Cadillac Escalade Platinum, valued at over $100,000 USD, has been customized with luxury interiors, serving both as transportation and as a mobile meeting space. Massive, commanding, and unmistakable, it perfectly reflects a boss who is used to standing at the center of the game. E-40 does not buy cars to fill a garage. Every vehicle he owns has a clear purpose. Either it supports his business or it preserves the cultural values he has carried since his earliest days. The total value of the collection is estimated around $2.5 to $3 million USD, an impressive figure, yet fully aligned with the scale of his assets and decades of work. After all the numbers, assets, and power accumulated over multiple decades, there is still one place E-40 values above everything else. Not the studio, not the boardroom, not the multi-million-dollar garage. It is family, the quiet but unbreakable foundation of his entire life. Private life, family comes first. In a Hollywood world where fame often walks hand in hand with collapse, E-40 stands as a rare exception. His personal life has never been loud, no scandals, no short-lived relationships splashed across headlines. Instead, there is stability lasting more than 3 decades, something almost luxurious in the entertainment industry. A marriage that runs against Hollywood. E-40 married Tracy in 1991 when his music career was still in the building phase. Before fame, before massive wealth. More than 30 years later, they are still together, not through grand public declarations, but through quiet and consistent presence. Tracy rarely appears in the media. She never plays the role of the rapper's wife, yet she stands behind many of E-40's most important decisions. In several interviews, He has hinted that the stability of his marriage helped him avoid the familiar traps of the entertainment industry, where countless talents have lost themselves. E-40 has two sons, Earl Jr. and Amari. Both pursue music, but neither is forced to live under the shadow of their father's name. Instead of paving the road for them, E-40 chose to be a guide. He gives advice when needed, but allows his sons to face challenges and shape their own identities. Earl Jr. and Amari grew up understanding the value of work discipline and patience. For them, music is not just a family legacy, but a personal choice. This reflects E-40's philosophy as a father. Success is not about handing over a crown, but teaching someone how to wear it when the time is right. Amid an empire of wealth, fame, and influence, E-40 has preserved something money cannot buy: a complete family life. That may be his greatest achievement. Across decades in music, he has always had a home strong enough to return to. After more than 30 years in the American entertainment industry, where scandals are routine, E-40 has remained almost untouched. No prison time, no relationship scandals, no career collapse. That does not mean there were no moments of friction. It simply means that when they happened, they revealed exactly who E-40 is and where he stands. Scandals and controversies. Rare ripples in a clean career. The NBA incident of 2023, when a legend was asked to leave. In April 2023, during a playoff game between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers, E-40 was unexpectedly asked to leave the arena by NBA security. The story exploded across American media. A West Coast hip-hop icon removed from a game while sitting in VIP seating. According to the NBA, the incident stemmed from a verbal dispute between E-40 and an opposing fan. The controversy came from one detail. Only E-40 was asked to leave, while others involved remained in their seats. E-40 responded calmly. No attacks, no public outrage. He simply stated that he had been treated unfairly. The Sacramento Kings, along with many artists and athletes, quickly voiced public support. Days later, the NBA clarified the situation. E-40's image did not suffer. If anything, he was seen as someone who maintained dignity in a public dispute. Straight talk, the double-edged blade of longevity. E-40 is known for speaking directly without filtering his words. In interviews about hip-hop, he has made comments that sparked debate about younger rappers, short-term industry thinking, and artists lacking financial knowledge. At times, these remarks were clipped and circulated without context, leading some audiences to label him as rigid or out of touch. But when viewed in full, they were not personal attacks. They were the perspective of someone who survived more than 30 years in the industry, speaking from experience rather than chasing attention. What stands out is that no major feuds ever followed these statements. No diss tracks, no prolonged public battles. Most people in the industry understand that E-40 speaks as a veteran, not as a provocateur. No scandals, a deliberate choice. In an industry where private life is often turned into marketing material, E-40's lack of major scandals is not accidental. It is a strategic choice. He stays away from notorious parties. He does not turn his family into content. He draws a clear line between work and personal life. That choice means E-40 appears less often in sensational entertainment headlines, but it protects something far more valuable: long-term credibility. That quiet reputation allows him to work with major corporations, build a wine empire, and maintain the image of a true businessman, something a single scandal could easily destroy. Success gave E-40 options, and one of the most consistent choices he has made over the years is returning to the community that raised him from the very beginning: charity and community impact. For E-40, charity is not a media campaign and certainly not a tool for image polishing. He rarely stands on a stage talking about how much he has given. Most of E-40's contributions are only known when someone else tells the story. Born and raised in the Bay Area, E-40 never viewed success as a ticket out of his community. Instead, he saw it as a responsibility to return. From programs supporting underprivileged youth local scholarships to funding educational initiatives and social support efforts across the region, E-40 shows up as a quiet backer. No noise, no performance. The difference lies in how he gives. No trend chasing, no hashtag-driven donations. E-40 focuses on real needs: helping young people access education, helping families survive difficult periods, keeping local community programs alive. He understands that in places like the Bay Area, consistency matters more than flashy moments. Beyond the broader community, E-40 places special focus on the next generation of artists. Unlike many major names who choose symbolic mentorships, E-40 takes a practical approach: knowledge and access. He regularly opens his studio doors and shares hard-earned lessons about contracts, publishing, and financial management, things many young artists only learn after paying a heavy price. To E-40, helping an artist understand their rights can be more valuable than handing them money. E-40 in 2025, still active and moving forward. Entering 2025, E-40 shows no signs of slowing down despite his legendary status in West Coast rap. He continues releasing new music singles and collaborations with contemporary artists. According to updated listings on Apple Music, his name appears across multiple new releases, such as Crash Out, Ya Feel Me, Show Out Too Much, and Gang Gang Gangland, all released in 2025, and drawing strong streaming numbers across digital platforms. Among them, Ya Feel Me stands out as one of the year's highlights, marking a collaboration between E-40, Larry June, and Cardo Got Wings, delivering a sound that feels both laid back and unmistakably West Coast. The year 2025 also marks E-40 being recognized not just as a rapper, but as a living legacy of hip-hop culture. In June 2025, he was invited to perform and reflect on his career during the 30th anniversary celebration of the classic album In a Major Way, the project that expanded his audience from underground roots to the mainstream. This was not simply a tribute to an old album. It reaffirmed E-40's continued influence, respected by both critics and fans alike. Appearances on platforms like Tiny Desk and ongoing international media attention further reinforced that status. In an era where many veteran names rely solely on past achievements, E-40 continues to explore new creative ground, expand his artistry,
collaboration,
and maintain a constant
and that
presence
sometimes
in modern
people want a
hip-hop.
feud.
This not
For
only strengthens
E-40,
his
this
position
chapter
in music,
stands as
but
proof
represents
in
a
hip.
long-term commitment to relevance and impact. So what do you think is E-40's greatest legacy? The music, the business, or the fact that he survived and thrived for more than 30 years in hip-hop? Hit like and subscribe, so you do not miss future deep dives into Black hip-hop legends behind the scenes.
4 million out the
stories,
gate,
real
or 3,
legacies,
4,
and the
whatever
power
the
that
case
lives
may
beyond
be.
the stage
I'll
lights.
probably
All data, analysis, and commentary in this video are presented based on information available at the time of production. The content is subject to change over time and should not be considered a definitive forecast. There is still so much more to explore: stories of resilience, legacy, and truth. Feel free to dive into some of our top recommended videos now appearing on your screen.